Part 5, Life Without Judgment. From dark secrets, we now move into the important role of the judgments that support them. We may ask, why is life without judgment important? It is because removing judgment returns conditions and judgmental beliefs back to ideas. Why is this important? It is important because judgmental beliefs only allow the expression of conditional acceptance. Thoughts and ideas allow us to express our love while remaining safe. They turn the light on in the room that houses our darkest secrets. Yes, mandatory conditions and judgmental beliefs can be changed back to neutral ideas. All that is required is the removal of the judgment. However, to remove old judgments from beliefs is not something we wish for, and it spontaneously happens. It turns out to be a tug of war inside our mind that requires a strong will and great resolve for success. When we do remove judgments, we open the door to unconditional self-love, the home of inner peace. When we love ourselves, our mind is like a warm, still, sparkling lake. Many of the people I work with tell me that they love themselves. I thought I did too. However, what I came to realize is that my self-love rested on conditional acceptance. If I was able to do the things I thought necessary to be loved, I loved myself. If I failed, that self-love disappeared like smoke in the wind. Here's what's happening. I have discovered that self-love is an avenue to inner peace, contentment, and joy. It allows our actions to align with the love we are. That the solution hinges around self-love surprises many. Have we been searching for someone to love us to prove we are worthy of our own self-love? In many respects, it appears that way. It seems that our early encounter with conditional love has sent us on a wild goose chase, culminating in a dead end of self-judgment and pain. We never realized that our love for others must now be primed like an old pump. We prime our love for others with self-love. To reset our love wave, we must now give ourselves what we have longed for since our birth: unconditional love. So what exactly are the actions that would show us we love ourselves unconditionally? In other words, what actions allow our behavior towards ourselves to align perfectly with the love we are? The answer takes us back to love's 3 synergistic ideas: self-love, self-caring, self-kindness, and self-forgiving. Love of others and self-love are the same wave. It's just focused in a different direction. It is composed of love's 3 major components. These components define love as well as create it. If someone is kind, caring, and forgiving, we say they are loving. And if we are kind, caring, and forgiving to ourselves, we have created self-love. All 3 ideas must be present for it to be love. We may be able to be half right, but we cannot be half love. Just like baking a cake, all of the ingredients must be present, or we don't end up with what we hope for. Be aware, overindulgence may feel like self-love, but it is only a stand-in for it. What I'm talking about is a deeper emotional love that includes caring, kindness, and self-forgiveness. How can we tell if we don't love ourselves? One clue is often projection. Projection. We project onto others the judgmental beliefs we hold about ourselves. When we judge someone as bad for not being able to do what we believe necessary to be lovable, we also judge ourselves the same way if we are unable to meet those standards. In other words, our judgmental beliefs greatly affect the personality we project out into the world, as well as our own self-love. Who loves someone who is wrong, bad, and not good enough? So what are some of those judgments? What follows are three commonly held subconscious misconceptions that separate us from self-love, and the understandings that frees us from them. Understanding these barriers is much like driving a car and knowing in advance where traffic bottlenecks are so that we can start to figure out a way to avoid them. Here is the first one. We are not responsible for our early family situation. Many of us believe that we caused the unrest in our families. I did. If only I were better or not here at all, then everything would be fine. The truth is, we had nothing to do with the situation we were born into. We were not involved in making our parents' choices. If we had that power, we would have changed this situation into something very different. The facts about a possible second belief that separate us from self-love are: we were not the cause of other people's emotions or behavior. How others felt emotionally may have been blamed on us, but we did not cause anyone to become angry and resentful, nor did we determine their behavior. Both their emotions and their behavior stemmed from the judge's thoughts and ideas they believed true, their judgmental beliefs. We can't make anyone change their beliefs, not then or now. And finally, the unfortunate outcome of believing that we were the cause of our early family situation is that we often operate from the fear that we are unlovable. How can I be lovable after all the trouble I cause? Folks, we believe we are not lovable because of other people's judgments of us that we have internalized, and not because of our reality. We were and are frequently taught that we are flawed, not enough, and unworthy of love. We're not clever, tough, pretty enough, and so on. Such ideas are pure falderall. Let's end this section by clearing up any possible confusion concerning self-love and being selfish. Self-love versus selfishness. Self-love is a giving energy. It is driven by the love we are. On the other hand, selfishness is all about taking, and it is driven by fear. Selfishness implies concern only for oneself and is not a giving energy. In fact, as Oscar Wilde once said, selfishness is not living as one wishes to live, it is asking others to live as one wishes to live. Self-love. Here's some other great news about self-love. When we increase self-love, we automatically decrease fear and emotional pain. It creates a classic seesaw effect. As our self-love heads up, our emotional pain spirals down. So much of our misaligned behavior and the pain associated with it is from the erroneous belief that we are not worthy of love. When we love ourselves, an internal message is sent that uncouples that belief, standing it on its head. As a side note, we often think joy is about receiving another's love, but I have found it always leads back to self-love. Here's why. We only accept another's love to the degree that we love ourselves. Again, if we don't feel worthy of love, we will deny others love by deflecting it, which leads us to the language of self-love in Part 6. But first, a short review. 1. Removing judgments returns conditional beliefs back to unbiased ideas, which allows us to express our love, especially our self-love. 2. Self-love is self-caring, self-kindness, and above all, self-forgiving. 3. Self-love is not selfish. Self-love is a giving behavior driven by love. 4. Selfishness is a taking action driven by fear. 5. There are 3 major understandings to self-love. The first is, we are not responsible for our early family situation. Those circumstances resulted from our parents' choices. The second understanding is that we did not cause anyone's emotions or behavior. Their judgmental beliefs did. And the final understanding is that our past actions often stem from our fear belief that we were unlovable. This, of course, is impossible. How can we be unlovable when we are love? This leads us to ask, what is the secret to moving past the dysfunction of judgment? And the answer is by seeing all things as neutral.